في نت من الاتصالات. للاشتراك اتصل على الرقم 199 مجانا من خط الهاتف أو زر أقرب معرض اتصالات أو من خلال تطبيق أنا بالتل أو شبكة موزعين المعتمدين. بالتل، غير بكرة.
This is NBC with me, Basil Qasim, and Amjad Al-Aisa reporting from An-Najah National University in Nablus, Palestine, with the headlines. Hundreds take part in funerals of Palestinians killed by Israel. Dr. Arakat says moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem will destroy the peace process. PLO condemns Hamas' planned execution of Palestinian women in Gaza. Tens of Palestinian children in Gaza protest in solidarity with Aleppo. And a truly transformative treatment for prostate cancer. Israeli occupation forces on Sunday fatally shot a Palestinian youth during clashes which erupted in the village of Beit Rima, northwest of Ramallah, according to the Ministry of Health. The ministry said Israeli soldiers shot and seriously injured 19-year-old Ahmed Hazem Rimawi in the chest during clashes which erupted after the soldiers raided the village. He was immediately transferred to a nearby hospital in the nearby town of Salfit, where he succumbed to his wounds. Hundreds of people participated Saturday in 6 funeral processions for Palestinians killed by Israeli forces in recent months, but their corpses were held for a long time as a punishment to their families. 4 of the funerals were held in the Hebron district in the south of the West Bank, a 5th in the town of Kabatia in the Jenin area, and in the north of the West Bank, and the 6th in Asira near Nablus. A 7th funeral was held Friday evening in the village of Kafin in the Tulkarem district for Ansar Hershey, who was shot dead on June the 2nd at a military checkpoint outside Tulkarem after she allegedly attempted to stab soldiers. Israel is supposed to turn over corpses of 3 others in the coming days out of 23 corpses of Palestinians its forces had shot and killed and who are being held for months. Dr. Saeb Arakat, Secretary General of the Executive Committee of the Palestine Liberation Organization, said on Saturday that moving the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem will destroy the peace process. He said in a statement after meeting foreign officials at his Jericho office that statements made by the appointed U.S. Ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, regarding moving the embassy to Jerusalem and his support for settlements could lead the region into violence, chaos, extremism and bloodshed if they are implemented. The High Representative for the European Union Foreign Affairs and Security, Federica Mogherini, said on Tuesday solving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is still on the top of the EU agenda. Mogherini's remarks came during her speech at the 4th EU League of Arab States ministerial meeting at the League's headquarters in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. She said we need to join efforts in trying to facilitate a solution to this old, relevant and not impossible to solve conflict. Mogherini added that the Arab Peace Initiative provides key elements for comprehensive conflict settlement, stressing the need to keep prospects of the two-state solution alive. She said we cannot underestimate the risks of new escalation of violence. We can really make a difference there. She confirmed that the Europeans are not among those who believe that hope is lost adding that we need to intensify our common work to solve the conflict. Arab and European foreign ministers will discuss during the one-day meeting issues of common concern, such as the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, fighting terrorism, security, illegal immigration, economy, as well as strategic cooperation in all fields. They will also focus on the developments in war-torn Syria, Iraq and Libya. Palestine's ambassador to the Czech Republic, Khalid Atrash, honored on Monday the oldest Czech supporter of the Palestinian people, Doris Gross-Novokova, 90, a survivor of the Nazi Terezin concentration camp. During the honoring ceremony, which took place at the premises of the Palestine's embassy in Prague during lighting a Christmas tree, Ambassador Atrash praised Novakova's solidarity with the Palestinian people and their just struggle toward independence and ending the Israeli occupation of their land. He also underscored the Palestinian leadership's determination to further boost relations at all levels with the Czech Republic. Novakova, meanwhile, said her long-standing position against the Israeli occupation of Palestine is in parallel with her rejection of the Nazi occupation of her country, which caused her personal suffering as well as her rejection of all occupations anywhere on earth. The longest-serving Palestinian prisoner in Israeli jails, Nail Barghouthi, remains behind bars even though he had completed a 30-month sentence, the Palestinian Prisoners Society PPS said on Saturday. It said Barghouthi, 59, from the Ramallah area of village of Koper, had served 34 years in prison before he was released in the 2011 prisoners' exchange with Israel. He was nevertheless rearrested in June 2014 along with dozens other liberated prisoners and sentenced to 30 months in prison, which ended last week. However, said the PPS, the Israeli military prosecutor has appealed against his release and asked the court instead to reinstate the original life prisoner sentence against Barghouthi. After serving the latest 30 months in prison, Nail Barghouthi's total time spent in prison became 36 years, making him the longest-serving prisoner in Israeli jails, said the PPS. PLO Executive Committee member Hanan Ashrawi on Sunday denounced Hamas' decision to sentence a 26-year-old Palestinian woman to death for killing her husband, who repeatedly beat her, saying that Hamas carrying out executions without the approval of Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas was illegal. She urged the Hamas government to protect all women in the besieged Gaza Strip, particularly those who have been subjected to violence and abuse. Nahia from Khan Yunis was sentenced to death in the besieged Gaza Strip at the start of October after a court in Gaza convicted her of premeditated murder after she killed her husband. A video published online Wednesday showed the deteriorating health of hunger-striking Palestinian prisoner Anas Shadid, who has been going without food for 83 days. The short video showed the young Palestinian groaning in pain, lying on a bed in the Israeli Asaf Harofeh hospital. Palestinian doctor Rafiq Masalha, who has conducted medical tests for both Shadid and fellow hunger-striking prisoner Ahmed Abu Farah, indicated in a report that Shadid had lost more than 15 kilograms, had become increasingly weak and could no longer sit nor stand. Masalha added that Abu Farah, who has abstained from food for 84 days, suffered from difficulties speaking, eyesight and muscle weakness, chest and stomach pains, and couldn't swallow water. The medical report added that if Shadid continued his hunger strike, he could suffer from permanent damage to his brain and heart, kidney and liver failure, and partially lose his eyesight. An Israeli military court Monday sentenced Natalie Shukha, 15, from the village of Rimon near Ramallah to 18 months in prison on charges of attempting to stab soldiers. The Palestinian Prisoners Society said in a statement that she was arrested on April 29th after she was shot following her alleged stabbing attack. Israeli occupation forces Monday detained 4 Palestinians from Jerusalem's Shafat refugee camp, in addition to a youth from the West Bank district of Nablus, according to security sources. Israeli police stormed Shafat refugee camp in Jerusalem and detained 4 Palestinians. Meanwhile, a 21-year-old Palestinian was detained by Israeli soldiers during a raid at the youth's family home in the village of Kufr Khalil to the south of Nablus. Israeli authorities issued 27 administrative detention orders against Palestinian detainees between the 7th and 18th of this month. On Sunday, said the Palestinian Prisoners Society PPS. PPS lawyer Mahmoud Al-Halabi said 7 detention orders without charge or trial were issued for the first time. The term of the administrative orders ranged between 3 months to 6 months. Administrative detention is the imprisonment of Palestinians without charge or trial and on the basis of secret evidence for up to 6-month periods, indefinitely renewable by Israeli military courts. Palestinian detainees have continuously resorted to open-ended hunger strikes as a way to protest their administrative detention and to demand an end to this policy, which violates international law. Israeli occupation forces on Monday blocked with cement blocks main roads leading to the village of Rantis to the northwest of Ramallah in the aftermath of an alleged shooting attack that left an Israeli settler injured. The occupation armed forces further deployed throughout the village and a military checkpoint was placed at one entrance after Israeli authorities announced that a settler was shot and injured near the village late Sunday. Israeli army continued on Sunday the blockade of the village of Hazma, northeast of Jerusalem, for the 6th consecutive day in a row, banning the entry and exit of local Palestinians from and into the village through its main entrance. Israeli occupation forces blocked the entrance 6 days ago under the pretext that youths from the village continued to attack with stones Israeli vehicles passing nearby. To be noted, the village's entrance links between northern and central West Bank districts with the southern districts of the territory, and thousands of cars use this road in their daily routes. A body of a 16-year-old Palestinian citizen of Israel, Wijdan Abu Ahmed, was discovered on Tuesday morning in a park near the Palestinian town of Qasr Samia and in the western Galilee of northern Israel, according to Israeli media. The Israeli media outlet Yedioth Ahronot reported that the girl was pronounced dead at the scene and was reportedly stabbed 3 times while still wearing her school uniform. Israeli police spokesman Mickey Rosenfeld told Man news agency that Ahmed was found with signs of bodily harm and that police were still looking into the circumstances of her death. Thousands of Palestinian children in the besieged Gaza Strip protested in front of the International Committee of the Red Crescent ICRC on Wednesday in solidarity with the people of eastern Aleppo who have faced government bombardment and massacres since forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad launched a devastating military offensive to retake the rebel-held area in Syria. From Palestinian children to Aleppo, stop the bleeding, one sign read at the protest, while another read, Aleppo is in our hearts. 10-year-old Palestinian child spoke on behalf of the other demonstrators during the event and called upon Arab countries to intervene to stop the slaughter of innocent people in Aleppo. The Syrian government offensive in eastern Aleppo has sparked international outcry, with residents live streaming and posting developments on social media, most of whom expressing their fears of a widespread slaughter of residents carried out by Assad's forces. 4 Jordanian security personnel have been killed in fresh clashes with armed men near the central town of Karak, state media report. The sources said that the gunfight began during a raid on a house where wanted suspects were believed to be hiding. A security source told the official Petra news agency that the operation was not linked to Sunday's shootings in Karak that left 10 people dead. The jihadist group the so-called Islamic State IS, has claimed it was behind that attack. A statement circulated on Tuesday via the messaging application Telegram said 4 soldiers of the Caliphate had on Sunday targeted Jordanian security forces and citizens of countries in the US-led coalition that is battling IS in neighboring Iraq and Syria. The Jordanian authorities have not confirmed the assailants' identities nor said whether they were members of IS, describing them only as terrorist outlaws. On Monday, Russian ambassador to Turkey Andrei Karlov was assassinated at an art exhibit in Ankara, reportedly shot by Mevlut Mert Altinas, a police officer. According to at least one report, the gunman said, "We'll make you pay for Aleppo," before firing at the ambassador, likely referring to Russia's backing of the Syrian government in its brutal siege of Aleppo. So far, Russia and Turkey have said that this is a move meant to weaken ties between the two countries, and the US Department of State said in a statement that it is ready to provide assistance to the two countries. It is unclear what will be said or happen next. Police in Germany have detained a migrant in relation to the Berlin Christmas market incident in which 12 people died and 48 were injured, which they are now investigating as a suspected terror attack. They believe the man arrived in Germany in February as a refugee from either Afghanistan or Pakistan. The German news wire DPA reported on Tuesday, citing unnamed security sources. Police are treating the incident in which a lorry was driven into the crowd at the Breitscheidplatz market in the German capital city centre on Monday evening as deliberately intended to cause harm. The approach tested across Europe uses lasers and a drug made from deep-sea bacteria to eliminate tumours but without causing severe side effects. Trials on 413 men published in the Lancet Oncology showed nearly half of them had no remaining trace of cancer. Lifelong impotence and incontinence are often the price of treating prostate cancer with surgery or radiotherapy. The new treatment uses a drug made from bacteria that live in the almost total darkness of the sea floor and which become toxic only when exposed to light. 10 fiber optic lasers are inserted through the perineum, the gap between the anus and the testis, and into the cancerous prostate gland. When the red laser is switched on, it activates the drug to kill the cancer and leaves the healthy prostate behind. And to you, Amjad, with the latest of An-Najah National University News.
Thank you, Basil. On Thursday, under the patronage of Mohammed I University in Oujda, An-Najah National University participated in the first international conference on material science and environment in Morocco. The conference was over 3 days and was attended by 450 researchers from different parts of the world. An-Najah was represented by Professor Ismail Warrad from the Faculty of Sciences and student Anas Ali from the Faculty of Graduate Studies, who gave lectures on different related topics. Professor Barkhair Hamouti, head of the conference, expressed his delight for the Palestinian and international participation and invited Professor Warrad as guest of honor. The conference included a number of themes related to materials science, environment and their applications, and the French delegation commended An-Najah work and invited the researchers to visit France for experience exchange. In his speech, Professor Warrad stressed the importance of academic cooperation among Arab universities and stated that An-Najah will be attending the second international conference, which will be held in Saudi in 2018. An-Najah student Carmel Subuh from the Planning and Political Development Program at the Faculty of Graduate Studies has recently won the Garner Research Award, an international award offered by International Studies Association in the US. The student obtained her BA in Media from the Arab American University of Jenin in 2012 and her MA from An-Najah with an excellent GPA. The winning paper focused on 4 main issues, namely the Palestinian split, peace negotiations, the Gaza war, and immigration to the US. Subh attributes her success to the support she received from her professors and the Najah administration, as well as the support of her family and friends. Professor Maher Nache, acting president of Najah, has received the winner at his office to congratulate her on this achievement. Professor Nache expressed his pride in Najah staff and students, as this is the second Garner Award for the university has obtained over 2 successive years. The winner of last year's award was Sawsan Ahmed, who was also a Najah graduate. The Garner Research Award is offered to prominent research in 40 different fields of study and is supervised by the Palestinian American Research Center in Ramallah and New York. Dr. Al-Aid Wikat, lecturer at the Construction Engineering Department of the Faculty of Engineering and IT at Najah, has recently won the Best Student Award offered by the University of Technology in Malaysia for the year 2016. His graduate research developed in and earned a value management approach which is being applied internationally in the field of project management to use it in measuring the actual energy cost performance of green buildings. It's worth mentioning that Dr. Dwikat published his research in 3 scientific papers. One was published in an international scientific conference, and 2 were published by prominent journals of high impact factor. And back to you, Basil.
Thank you, Amjad, for updating us on Najah News. You are watching NBC News Bulletin. Thank you for being with us, and goodbye.